America's 117th Congress is the most racially and ethnically diverse in the country's history. According to the Pew Research Center, 23% of the House and Senate members identify as a racial minority, and this number represents a 97% increase from the 107th Congress 20 years ago. While the number of minority lawmakers has increased dramatically, diversity among staff members on Capitol Hill has remained relatively flat. According to a study conducted by the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies, minorities only make up 11% of senior staff positions, with only 3% being black. On Capitol Hill, each lawmaker's office in the House and Senate independently recruits and hires its staff with no oversight from human resources departments, which leaves no system of checks and balances to ensure diversity exists within their ranks. But hiring is not the only issue complicating diversity on the Hill. Retention is becoming an equally difficult challenge. Black staffers have been leaving the Hill in droves, primarily due to low pay relative to the cost of living in Washington, D.C. Many black staffers have also cited the pandemic, uneasy race relations, and the lack of representations as factors as well. Some have also indicated that the trauma associated with the insurrection of January 6th was a contributing factor. Friday, the Congressional Black Associates and Congressional Black Legislative Staff Caucus published a letter entitled "From Black Congressional Staff to America," calling for lawmakers to make an increased effort to hire staff that more accurately reflects America. One of the authors of that letter, Herline Mathieu, the president of the Congressional Black Associates, joins us now to discuss. Ms. Mathieu, thank you so much for being here. Help us to understand this. You know, if representation by minorities, racial minorities went up, and they are responsible for hiring their own staff, are we saying that they didn't hire minority staff proportionate to their increased numbers in the House and Senate?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me, Charles. It's honestly a combination of things. One of the biggest things that we're finding is that, you know, for example, myself, I didn't even know about Capitol Hill. I just was doing my research once I graduated from college and stumbled across this place, really just became enamored with it because of the brilliant people, especially the brilliant Black people that I was coming across. And from there, it became a goal of mine to make sure that I tell everyone back home, students that I was coming across, about this place and the opportunities that it has to provide. So really, it's just been about doing a better job at strengthening pipelines so that we can actually get these Black and brown kids and even adults who are looking to make a career move to Capitol Hill.
Right, so I understand that. So there's a pipeline issue which you were just describing that you were trying to address, getting more people exposed to the idea that there are jobs there are careers there, and in having that pipeline filled with candidates when people start to hire. But isn't it also incumbent on this larger group of minority members of the House and Senate to hire people who look like them and look like America? If they're not going to show up in other people's offices, the least they could do is to show up in those offices. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. And they do. To be honest with you, most of the Black staffers that you're seeing are coming from those Black and brown members. You know, when you think about the number of chief of staff who are currently in Congress, most of them are being hired by Black lawmakers. So they're definitely holding their end and making sure that they are scouting a diverse pool of candidates to consider when they're staffing up their offices.
Talk to us about the pricing pressures of living in D.C. and making a salary that a staffer would make. There's some people who are coming to government from families that don't need a lot of help and are wealthy. A lot of Black people, one would presume, if they're coming from the general Black population, are not coming from those kinds of families as often and cannot pay the rent and make a living and live in the city of D.C. with a staffer salary. How do we deal with that?
Yeah, it's honestly probably been one of the biggest challenges that my colleagues have shared with me. Being the president of the Congressional Black Associates, I've been elected by my colleagues to be someone that they often reach out to. And the number one thing that I normally get is, Herline, I've tried to stay here as long as I can, but I literally cannot afford to do this anymore. And I think the other thing to consider is DC is a very transient city. Most of us are coming from different regions of this country. Myself, I'm coming from Florida. My team with CBA, coming from California, New Jersey, just all different places of the country. And when you take into account that DC, a place that is the 5th most expensive place to live in this country, still yet to be recognized as a state, it's difficult. But we've tried to make it work. A lot of my colleagues have 2, 3 jobs, walking dogs, anything that we can to make it work, because we understand that this is an investment and this is so much bigger than us.
Herline Mathieu, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that this situation works itself out. We get more representation among the staff of Black and brown people. Thank you so much for your time tonight.